Good morning. Today's April the 11th. It's Sunday. I think it's the 11th. Anywho, I was noticing that my other plants are starting to germinate. And so I think we can transplant today. Yay! Transplantation of my first seedlings. So it's a perfect day for it. It's overcast, nice and cool. And it's kind of drizzling on and off. Right now it's just maybe a couple sprinkles here and there. Perfect day to transplant baby plants. I got the row ready last night, so I'm good to go. And if I don't start transplanting some of this, my other stuff is coming up. So I'm gonna get behind. So I have to get these moving. So this is chamomile. Chamomile, I would rank right up there as far as easy as one of the easiest. It's right up there with zinnia and sunflowers. Super easy plant to get started. It germinates. It's supposed to take 7 days pretty much for any seed, but chamomile for me has always germinated within about 3 days. And it's the little flowers that you pick, and then you can brew yourself some chamomile tea, or you can make some, I guess, salves or oils or whatever you wanted out of it, but I just basically use it for tea. I love the smell of fresh chamomile when I'm picking it. It's kind of a spindly little plant. So it comes up, it gets really bushy, but the stem is always kind of what I would consider sort of a weakling. So when you go to pick the flowers, for me, it's always best if I use 2 hands and I can steady the stem with one hand while I'm gently plucking the flowers off with another. All right, so what I'm going to do, I went ahead and put one out just to see what the conditions were like over in the chamomile bed, and it's very easy to work with. Now I hear sprinkles coming up, so a rain delay. As soon as it stops sprinkling, we'll go move some more out into the garden. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of individualizing my little pots. You cut them and then they just kind of fall apart or whatever. And I'm pulling out the ones that I feel like are the tallest and the most crowded and probably ready to go. So I definitely want to get that one and that one and that one, and probably that one out of there. And then I'll make my selections of which ones I want to put in the ground. So I definitely want to pull out my taller ones and get them in the ground now. All right, I've made my selections. I already have one in the ground, so that's going to give me 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14. 14 of the taller ones I want in the ground, and then these little shorties I'm going to leave a little bit longer. I just want you to see the difference so you can see which ones I'm leaving behind. I especially want to get this one in the ground. And I know they seem tiny, but the conditions are right. And like I said, if I don't get going, I'm going to fall way behind. So I'm going to tray these up and take them outdoors while we got a little break in the sprinkles. All right, before I head outside with my precious bundles here, I do want to mention that they have been out from under the grow lights. They've been in the natural sun inside the greenhouse, and they've had a fan on them for coming up on 2 weeks now. So I feel like they're ready to go out. Okay, so the way I prepared this flower bed is I used one of my most popular tools, my little hand trowel. I also use a hand fork, and I use a hand rake and a hoe. I rarely have to use a shovel unless it's to get something out of my way. I didn't till, I didn't prepare, I didn't do anything. This was tall grass. Some of this grass was above my head last year. This was all a white native pollinator garden. And last winter, I came out with cardboard while everything was sleeping, and I put really thick cardboard out here. And then as I began to rake, I started to put leaves and some straw on top of the cardboard. And that's probably been about, I guess we're coming up on 3 months that this area has been treated. So to make my rows, I did absolutely no tilling, no plowing, no nothing. I barely even used the hoe last night. So all I did was just kind of take my hands, push back the cardboard, and use one corner of my hoe, and easily went down and made my row. Almost no work at all. This is a no-till, no shovel, no new dirt brought in, no nothing. This is just smothering out what grew here before, making a row with a hoe, having patience, waiting, making a row with my hoe, and then coming out here and gently hoeing the ground. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put these little guys in their spots, and I'm going to spread them out quite a ways apart, because they do become kind of like a little shrub. And then as they mature, I'll come out with a pair of scissors and I'll snip off the ones that are smaller and leave only the nicest, tallest, most vigorous growing plant of each pot. All right, it's difficult to do with one hand, but I want you to see how easy this soil is to work with. Remember, this is no-till. So let's just say I pick a spot. It's that easy. Look at this. That's no-till. No shoveling, no tilling, no nothing. Okay, because these are in peat pots, peat is supposed to break down. However, peat is also very drying. It's like a drawing material. It draws the moisture. So I don't want the moisture pulled away from these roots. I want them actually to be able to get on the roots. So I do pull off a lot of the peat and just put them in the ground like that, like a little soil plug. Always make sure your soil's wet when you do that, or at least moist, so it doesn't just fall apart on you. And I just pull the peat away very gently. I just sort of peel it like a banana. All right, when I'm putting them in the ground, I want to make sure that I don't have any pockets of air between where the soil starts and my roots end. So after I put them in the ground, I make sure the roots are getting contact, and I just give them a gentle press down. Like that. Okie dokie, they're all in the ground, all 14 of them. And so many things could happen at this point. I could get a gully washing thunderstorm that could just tear them up and they won't make it. I could get a robin over here looking for worms. I could get a vole that would push them up out of the ground. A curious possum or coon looking for grubs could come along tonight. There's many things that could happen. But there's just as many, or they may not like this spot. That could always happen too. But there's just as many good things that can happen. So they could really take off, they could thrive here, and I'll have such an abundance of chamomile tea this summer that I'm gonna invite each and every one of you over here to have a cup of tea with me. So that's the way I'm gonna think, is 100% positive, 110%. And that last little one sitting over there, I'm going to take that one up to the house, so it's right outside my door, and plant it there. And remember, if anything bad happens, I have all those other plants in reserve. So let's hope for the best. I'll keep you posted. Happy gardening.